miles, and maybe, just maybe next year, you get to board the plane 3 minutes early.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. It was all about the promise of a future reward. But the Insight Atlas sources we're looking at today are screaming this brutal truth. Consumer data shows that customers have just, well, stopped waiting.
Stopped waiting is a very polite way to put it. They're actively revolting against the wait.
Revolting.
Yeah. The source material we have regarding broken taboos in the marketing world paints a picture where delayed gratification isn't just unpopular, it's practically extinct.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack this massive shift. We're going to look at why this is happening. Spoiler alert, it involves something called the Polycrisis. And we're going to decode the secret game plans of giants like Sephora, HubSpot, Flexport.
The ones who are surviving it.
Exactly. They've figured out how to reprogram decision-making using micro-wins and instant gratification. But before we get to the how, I want to push back a little on the why.
Push away.
Is this just because our attention spans are completely fried? I mean, the easy answer people give is, oh, TikTok ruined our brains and now we can't wait 5 seconds for a video to load, let alone a reward.
It's the easy answer, but it's wrong.
It feels lazy, right? Humans used to be rational investors. We planted seeds for trees we'd never see grow. We built cathedrals over centuries. Why have we suddenly swapped that identity for this need of make me feel good right now?
You're completely right to be skeptical of the short attention span argument.
Yeah.
It's not just about impatience. It's actually a survival mechanism.
It's a survival mechanism.
Yeah. The source material points directly to the psychological toll of what's being called the Polycrisis era.
The Polycrisis. I mean, it sounds like a bad sci-fi movie title.
It does, but unfortunately we're living in it. Think about the cognitive load you and I and everyone listening have been carrying over the last few years.
See, it's a lot.
It's immense. We've had wild economic fluctuations, the long-tail aftershocks of the pandemic, massive political uncertainties on a global scale, and on top of all that, a digital bombardment of information that literally never stops.
Right. It's not just noise. It's threat detection. Your phone buzzes in your pocket, and you don't know if it's a funny meme from your mom or a global market crash.
Precisely. And this constant state of high alert creates more than just fatigue. It creates something called decision avoidance.
Decision avoidance.
Yes. Whether you're a shopper trying to buy lipstick or a CEO deciding on $1 million logistics infrastructure, your brain is fundamentally exhausted. You just do not have the cognitive surplus to run a long-term cost-benefit analysis anymore.
So because we're so mentally drained, we just stop thinking about next year and start exclusively thinking about the next 5 minutes.
We retreat to the immediate. We have to.
Yeah.
If we look at the BBC side, regular consumers, people aren't buying products to meet a rational need anymore. They are buying microtherapy.
Microtherapy. I actually love that term.
It's very accurate.
It implies the purchase is almost medicinal. Like, I had a terrible meeting, the news is awful, I need this specific purchase to fix my mood right this second.
Exactly. And it's the exact same in the B2B world, which is where it gets really fascinating for businesses.
Because B2B is supposed to be all spreadsheets and logic.
Right, but executives are humans too.
Yeah.
In B2B, executives are buying immediate risk reduction. They need a psychological victory to present to their boss, or honestly, even just to themselves, in the middle of a chaotic shift.
So they aren't looking for a 5-year partnership.
No, they're looking for a dopamine hit that says, you are safe.
That brings up this incredible metaphor from the source material that I want to use as our anchor today. It says, if you show a tired executive a dark tunnel and say, the light is 2 years away, you lose.
That's the crux of it right there.
You lose because they don't have the energy to walk through the dark for 2 years on faith.
They will just turn around and walk away.
Yeah.
The winning strategy now in 2026 is that you have to place lights inside the tunnel right now. You have to offer illuminations that are felt instantly.
Okay, so let's get practical for our listeners. Let's see what putting lights inside the tunnel actually looks like in the real world. I want to start with Sephora.
Great example.
They are a massive player in the beauty world, obviously, but they faced a very specific problem with their digital sales.
They did. We were using that traditional delayed gratification model we talked about. You know, spend $1,000 by December to hit Rouge VIP status, and we'll give you a nice little gift box.
Right.
But they analyzed their data and saw something completely terrifying. Thousands of customers were filling their digital carts, getting all the way to the payment screen, and then just freezing.
The moment of truth, or I guess the moment of abandonment.
The moment of credit card guilt.
Oh, that's real.
Behavioral economists call this the pain of paying. It's a literal psychological pinch. In that micro moment, the customer looks at the total, maybe it's $150 for creams and serums, and thinks, do I really need this? The world is on fire. I shouldn't be spending this money.
And then they just close the tab. I've definitely been there. You hover over the pay button, your rational, anxious brain kicks in, and you bail.
Happens every second of every day.
But Sephora can't just lower prices, right? That destroys their margins, so what do?
They smashed that end-of-year gift model. Instead, they introduced a variable reward strategy right at that specific pain point.
How does that work?
Just as you're feeling that guilt on the payment screen, hovering over the button, a message pops up. Surprise! Shipping is on us today. Or, here are 3 instant trial sizes, completely free.
Wait, but isn't that just a discount with extra steps? How is that really different from having a coupon code?
It's the timing and the framing. That's what's crucial. A coupon is calculated math that you plan for. This is a variable reward, which hits the brain exactly like a slot machine.
Oh, I see.
They replace the guilt with the euphoria of winning. It turns a routine, somewhat painful transaction into a moment of sudden privilege.
So the micro win isn't necessarily the free shipping itself, it's the sudden feeling of, wow, I got lucky.
Exactly. The data shows cart abandonment absolutely plummeted because the reward wasn't months away. It was immediate. They successfully hacked the brain's reward system to override the pain of paying.
That's brilliant. A little frightening maybe because it's gamifying the wallet, but brilliant.
It's highly effective.
But okay, I have to play devil's advocate here. That's selling lipstick and skincare. It's emotional, it's fun. Does this actually work when you're selling boring, complex corporate software? B2B sales is usually the land of long meetings and pure logic.
Surprisingly, yes. In fact, it works better there because the boredom is the enemy. And that brings us directly to HubSpot.
Right, HubSpot. They sell marketing and sales software infrastructure. Not exactly an impulse buy at the checkout counter.
Not at all. And that was their exact problem. Their sales teams were exhausted. They were walking into meetings with these tired, burned-out executives and trying to walk them through 40-page slide decks about ROI and the future.
Let me tell you how much money you'll make in 3 years if you just sign this massive contract today.
Exactly. And the C-level execs just checked out. They didn't have the cognitive energy to listen to a lecture. Let me tell you, the future model had completely collapsed for them.
So what was HubSpot's pivot?
They employed a Trojan horse strategy.
A Trojan horse. Okay, break that down for me. What did they sneak into the meeting?
They created a free tool called the Website Grader. You sit down with a prospective customer, you ask for their URL, you type it in, and within 3 seconds, literally 3 seconds, it spits out a list of red alarms and errors currently on their site.
Oh, wow. That is visceral. Seeing red ink on your own company's work.
Very visceral.
That's not a win, though. That's like a punch in the gut.
It feels like one at first, but psychologically, it's an epiphany, and that is a win.
How so?
It changes the dynamic instantly. The customer looks at that screen and thinks, I am losing money right now. I need to fix this. HubSpot made the pain visible immediately, without even trying to sell the software yet.
Ah, it leverages loss aversion. We're much more motivated to stop a current loss than we are to gain a future profit.
100%. They created instant value, a sudden realization rather than a promise of future value.
Yeah.
The light in the tunnel here was clarity.
Clarity.
In a confusing polycrisis world, clarity is a massive dopamine hit, even if the actual news is bad.
That's a really key distinction for our listeners to catch. The micro win doesn't actually have to be happy news. It just has to be immediate news that gives you a sense of control.
Precisely. It cuts right through the noise and says, here's the problem right now.
Speaking of noise and confusion, let's talk about the absolute champion of black box anxiety, logistics.
Oh, the global supply chain. The source material literally calls this the cognitive torture of the business world.
It really is. Think about it. You put $1 million worth of goods on a ship in another country, and then silence. For weeks.
Nothing but ocean.
It's the ultimate delayed gratification nightmare.
And that silence is unbearable for a modern executive.
Did the ship dock?
Is the customs paperwork stuck? Will I even have inventory for the holiday season?
Right. And in the traditional model, the only relief you got came 6 weeks later when a truck finally showed up at your warehouse.
Which is too late for your blood pressure.
So how do you fix that? You can't make a cargo ship move faster across the Pacific. Physics is physics.
No, you can't speed up the boat. But you can completely change how the customer experiences the wait. This is what Flexport did with what they call their transparency revolution.
Okay, what did they do?
They consolidated everything air freight, sea freight, local customs onto one single digital dashboard. But the genius wasn't just centralizing the data. It was the frequency of the micro updates.
Okay, but a dashboard. I mean, we've had tracking numbers for pizza delivery for years. Why is a dashboard a game changer for B2B logistics?
Because the stakes are so much higher, which means the baseline anxiety is so much higher. Flexport essentially gamified the safety signal.
The safety signal.
Yeah. Instead of weeks of silence, you open the app and get a live satellite view of your specific ship moving across the ocean. You get a green tick notification on your phone the exact second a customs document is approved in another time zone.
The green tick?
That green tick is the light in the tunnel. Every single time that little notification pops up, the executive gets a hit of dopamine that says, you are safe. Everything is on track. You can breathe.
So they aren't actually waiting for the physical goods anymore. They're actively consuming the feeling of control.
Exactly. You are consuming safety in real time. They turned the invisible, stressful supply chain into a transparent digital product that you can check every morning with your coffee for a hit of relief.
That's such a powerful shift in perspective. You're selling peace of mind, not just moving shipping containers.
Yes.
It seems like the common thread here, whether we're talking about Sephora fighting guilt or Flexport fighting uncertainty, is moving the starting line. The customer experience shouldn't start when the service is finally delivered. It needs to start the second the decision is made.
That is perfectly illustrated in the service industries. Specifically, if we look at healthcare and tourism.
Right.
These are industries where the wait is traditionally where you feel the absolute most powerless.
Let's talk about healthcare first. The source mentions Forward Health. Now, the traditional doctor experience is basically you make an appointment, you wait 2 weeks in agony, you sit in a sterile waiting room reading 5-year-old magazines, and you just feel anxious about what's wrong with you.
You feel like a victim.
Completely.
You feel entirely passive, you don't know what's wrong, and you're just sitting there waiting for an authority figure to tell you your fate. It's a very high anxiety environment.
So Forward Health decided to destroy that waiting room anxiety.
Yeah.
How? By engaging you before you even leave the house.
Exactly.
But how? Just by sending you a PDF form to fill out. Because honestly, that's just homework. That adds stress.
No, not forms. By giving you actual diagnostic tools. They use AI symptom scanning via their app. You scan your body, you input your biometric data, and you get a preliminary assessment map immediately on your screen.
So by the time you actually walk through the clinic doors, you aren't just a terrified patient anymore. You're almost like a project manager of your own body.
You are a partner in command of your data. That feeling of safety and agency starts the exact second you engage with the app at home.
You've already had a micro win.
Right. You have a basic understanding of your own health data before the doctor even says hello.
That totally reminds me of the Marriott Bonvoy example in the research. It tackles the exact same emotional problem, but for luxury vacations.
Yes. Think about booking a massive vacation. You pay $5,000 today, but the trip isn't for another 3 months. That 3-month gap is psychological torture.
It is. You start doubting yourself immediately.
Did I pick the right hotel? Is the
Yeah.
pool going to be too crowded? Buyer's remorse sets in before you even duffed off your suitcase.
Especially if you happen to see a cheaper deal on another website the very next week.
Marriott tackled this brilliantly with a digital concierge that launches right at the moment of booking. The literal second your credit card is charged, you can take a high-def VR tour of the destination.
Wow.
You can go in and choose your specific pillow type for the bed. You can book your exact restaurant tables for Thursday night.
So you're mentally on vacation instantly. You're already claiming your territory.
The vacation psychologically starts when the payment clears. The dopamine is released immediately, not 3 months from now.
And I bet cancellation rates just plummet.
They drop to near zero because the customer has already invested real emotional energy into choosing their pillows and their dinner view. They own it now.
That is so smart. It completely turns waiting into anticipating, which is a fundamentally different emotion. One is passive suffering and the other is active enjoyment.
It gives them agency, and like we keep seeing, agency kills anxiety.
Let's pivot slightly here. We've talked about credit card guilt. We've talked about deep uncertainty in logistics and health. But sometimes the lack of instant gratification isn't about some deep psychological fear. Sometimes it's just about friction. Just annoying physical friction.
Why am I standing in this line friction?
Exactly. The source brings up national car rental. And honestly, car rental is usually the specific circle of hell reserved for business travelers.
It really is. Picture it. You're jet lagged, you just landed at O'Hare, you're exhausted, you just want to get to the hotel and sleep. And you walk up to a 50-person line at the rental counter under fluorescent lights.
And you just know deep in your bones that when you finally get to the front of that line, they're going to try to upsell you on insurance you don't need. It's an inherently adversarial interaction.
It's torture. Even though the car you paid for is sitting right there in the lot, the process of getting the keys is agonizing. So National Car Rental introduced the Emerald Aisle, and it's a masterclass in removing friction.
Which is basically their VIP fast lane.
It's so much more than a lane. It's a complete bypass of the entire system. You walk right past the counter.
Yeah.
You don't make eye contact with a single human being.
Love that.
You walk straight out to the lot. You pick literally any car with a key sitting in the ignition. You scan your app at the gate, and you drive away.
Zero human contact.
Zero human contact. Zero paperwork. For a tired executive, that isn't just a rental car transaction. It's a massive micro-victory of status, privilege, and freedom.
They're buying the feeling of being important enough to skip the line.
Exactly. It transforms a miserable chore into a total power move. I don't wait in lines. That feels incredibly good. It strokes the ego immediately.
And that ego boost is the light in the tunnel for them.
Spot on.
We have one last case study here from the Insight Atlas, and I want to spend a moment on it because it addresses something I think a lot of businesses struggle with. The invisible service.
Right.
Specifically, we're talking about cleaning and facility management.
This is the Sweep South case study.
Now, commercial cleaning is a pretty thankless expense. If you're a CEO, you pay thousands of dollars a month for office cleaning. But if the cleaning crew does their job perfectly, you see absolutely nothing.
Exactly. It's a completely invisible service. You only ever notice it when they miss a spot. If the boardroom trash can isn't emptied, you're furious. But if it is emptied, your brain doesn't even register it.
So it feels like you're just throwing money into a void every month. It creates this chronic cognitive load of doubt. Am I getting my money's worth? Are they even coming in on the weekends?
This is a massive retention problem for any maintenance business. Sweep South changed this dynamic completely by creating what they call proof of work.
Proof of work, that sounds like cryptocurrency lingo.
It's the exact same core concept. Verify the effort transparently.
Okay, how does that look for cleaning?
Imagine you're the executive. You're at home on a Sunday afternoon watching football. You aren't anywhere near the office. Suddenly, a notification drops on your phone. Boardroom, disinfected and ready for Monday. And attached to it is a time-stamped high-def photo of the sparkling clean room.
Oh, that is strangely satisfying.
It gets better. As the cleaners move through the building, a live floor plan map on your phone turns green, room by room by room.
It's like a video game. You're just sitting on your couch watching the map clear up.
Think about the pure psychology there. It gives that stressed executive instant relief. Everything is under control. My office is ready for Monday morning. They don't have to physically go check. The invisible workforce suddenly becomes brilliantly visible.
And crucially, the value they are paying for isn't just the clean room anymore. The value is the notification itself.
Bingo. The notification is the product. That feeling of control is what they are actually renewing the contract for every year. They aren't paying for cleaning. They are paying for the proof of work that lets them sleep at night.
So if we step back and look at all these examples together, Sephora fighting guilt with instant rewards, HubSpot fighting boredom with visceral red ink, Flexport fighting the black box with green ticks, Sweep South fighting invisibility with live maps. What is the big picture here? Because it really feels like customer service isn't even the right phrase for this anymore.
You're entirely right. Customer service is reactive. Something breaks, you fix it. This new era is about customer engineering.
Customer engineering.
Yes. We are seeing a fundamental shift in what constitutes actual value. In 2026, value isn't just the final product you get at the end of the transaction. Value is the active reduction of anxiety during the entire process.
Value is the reduction of anxiety. Man, that's the takeaway right there.
It really is. The brands that are growing right now aren't the ones promising a bright light at the end of the tunnel. They are the ones aggressively putting lights inside the tunnel. They deeply understand that their customers are stressed, tired, and completely overloaded.
And they are meeting that stress not by asking for patience, but with extreme empathy and speed.
Empathy, plus catching those micro-moment feelings, plus concrete intermediate outputs. That is the formula for unbreakable loyalty today. You have to prove to the customer right this second that they made the right choice. You cannot ask them to blindly trust you for 6 months.
So trust is dead.
Blind trust is dead. You have to actively earn that trust every 6 minutes with a notification, a reward, or a piece of radical transparency.
It's a fascinating reality check for anyone in business. We usually think of loyalty as something the customer gives us, like, I'm loyal to this brand. But this data suggests loyalty is something we have to build for them, brick by brick, micro moment by micro moment.
Absolutely. Your strategies must solve their current stress if you want to build future loyalty. If you ignore their immediate anxiety because you're too focused on your big picture deliverable, you'll never even get to the future. Your customer will have already bailed at the checkout screen.
That is an incredibly powerful place to land today. It really challenges that old traditional business mindset of under-promise and over-deliver. Now it's more like deliver immediately and then just keep delivering again and again.
It's relentless, yes, but it's the only proven way to win in the polycrisis.
So here is the provocative thought I want to leave you with today as you go back to your own projects. Based on everything we've decoded from our sources, look at your business. If you are selling a promise for tomorrow, you might already be losing the game today. Look closely at your customer's journey. Where is their anxiety peaking? Where is the black box? Where is the guilt?
And ask yourself, what is the green tick, the micro win, or the proof of work you can give your customer right now to prove they are safe, smart, and fully in control?
Don't ask them to walk through the dark. Light it up.
Find that light inside the tunnel.
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the Insight Atlas source material. It's been a real eye-opener, and honestly, I'm definitely going to look at my own impulse buys a little differently now.
Just try to enjoy the dopamine hits when they happen.
Oh, I will. I'll take all the microtherapy I can get. Thanks for listening, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive, and we'll see you then.